Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I saw Fantastic Four: First Steps, and now I want to talk to you about it. It's a superhero action comedy that follows a group of four heroes taking on a threat to planet Earth called Galactus. The screenplay is a Frankenstein monster created by Josh Friedman, Eric Pearson, Jeff Kaplan, and Ian Springer. Matt Sharman directed the film, which stars Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and Joseph Quinn. Okay, so Fantastic Four is your typical superhero film with a new coat of paint on it. Instead of it taking place in modern times, they set it in the 1940s, in an alternate universe. They use retro appearances for the costuming and technology, but that's where the differences end. The story is the same old, same old. A giant monster from space appears, and he's going to destroy the Earth unless these four heroes stop him. There's a bit of comedy, some drama, a couple of CGI action sequences, and then the predictable thing happens and everyone goes home happy. The story is told through the perspective of the Fantastic Four, so we see a little bit of Johnny, Ben, Sue, and Reed's lives. We get to learn about their personal struggles and how they deal with things. Reed Richards is the world's smartest man, husband to Sue Storm and leader of the Fantastic Four. He carries the weight of the world on his shoulders and constantly frets about his lack of success. Sue Storm is his confident, badass wife. She's there to give the others guidance, help them with their problems, and deal with a surprise pregnancy. Sue finds it tough to balance being a superhero and a mother. Johnny Storm is a brazen hothead with a ton of potential. No one around him takes him seriously because of his behavior, but he strives to be seen as a dependable member of the Fantastic Four. Ben Grimm, best friend to Reed Richards and heart of the Fantastic Four, is there to fly the ship and give great advice. He helps the others get over their issues, but can't find the confidence to help himself out for once. Aside from the Fantastic Four, there are only extras and the two villains, Shala Bol and Galactus. Neither of them gets overly developed, though. They're just scary space people with magic powers that can kill everyone. Visually, the film takes place in an alternate universe, so they costume everyone like they're living in the 1940s and they make the technology and the buildings look a little more retro. Most of the journey involves them sitting around in the tower talking about Galactus and how to defeat him. And then there's a couple of CGI action sequences where they actually take on him and Shala Bol. For big standouts, they had CGI fight fests between Shala Bol, Galactus, and the Fantastic Four. They involve lots of CGI powers like invisibility, fire control, and inhuman stretching. We also see the characters fly around in a spaceship and do some frontier adventuring. Sound-wise, the film employs scored instrumentals of the epic variety. They use them sparsely to add a little bit of emotion and some octane during the action. They give the film a quiet but grand feeling that helps it fit into the superhero genre. Which brings me to my review. The story technically makes sense, but it isn't interesting or all that entertaining. The details they give you all add up to the sum you expect. That said, they deliver them in the driest, most boring way possible. They don't really develop any of the Fantastic Four members well. They barely develop Galactus and Shala Bol. And they end things with a big old heaping pile of Deus Ex Machina. There are no stakes, there's no sense of danger, and they didn't do a good job of drawing out big emotional moments. Aside from boring you to death with endless exposition dumping, they also don't really progress the story until the last 40 minutes. Everything before that is basically just one long exposition dump about what's happening. They manage to pack in all the details you need, but my god does it feel like sitting through a lecture. Cast-wise, there's a lot of muted performances. They do a lot of exposition dumping and not much else. The time is split fairly evenly between the Fantastic Four members, but most of that time is spent building up the story and not developing their characters. In the little moments they do get to build something, they do a decent job, but never get the chance to really stand out. The closest anyone comes is Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, with the emotions surrounding Franklin, but even those moments are cut criminally short. Like they're afraid you might actually feel something while watching this movie. Visually, the film looks alright, and is clear in what's happening. The 40s aesthetic does a good job of making the film feel unique and fresh. They also do a good job with the big CGI backgrounds that they used and the sound stages they set up in front of them. They managed to create unique and interesting locations for the story to take place in. When it comes to the CGI, it's really hit or miss. Sometimes, like with Shala Bol, the CGI looks terrible. Like they've gone backwards in time and actually taken some assets from a film in the 90s and are trying to make it work. Sometimes it looks alright, like on the backgrounds or during the spaceship sections. Galactus is also decent the first time you see him, a giant looming figure in the background with light up eyes. Then you see him running around and the textures on him are suddenly way different. It's like the old meme of them switching from a cutscene to actual gameplay, and it goes from real actors to a crappy box-like cartoon. The action is entirely CGI. At first, it isn't so bad, but over time it gets to be CGI overload. Sound-wise, the film does a decent job of backing the emotional journey and building tension, but the tracks aren't memorable or prominent enough to stand out. They do add the right emotions in the right time and do it without interfering with anything else. That said, this sounds exactly like every other Marvel film. It might as well be Captain America, because if you close your eyes, you'll hear the same damn songs over and over again. Personally, I doubt I could have been more bored in the theater. I'm a longtime fan of comic books, and while Fantastic Four were never my favorite, they've always been decently entertaining. This story not only lacked any originality, it had no emotion, and nothing but superfluous flavor and big CGI clashes to offer. One thing I really didn't understand was setting the film in an alternate universe if they weren't going to do anything with the setting. This is just another superhero film with a different coat of paint. It does everything you expect it to, and doesn't add anything to the genre. It doesn't even have interesting heroes. As for a rating, I'd give this a 5 out of 10. It's got enough good qualities to make it watchable, but not enough to make it interesting or worthwhile. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye.